Hi friends, Nick here from Technology Lowdown. Today we're looking at disks and files and folders within Linux and how you can find out information about those without a visual GUI. So the reason we're looking at this today is because I've just recently set up a NAS at home using Debian and it doesn't have a GUI. So I've needed to make changes to the system to ensure that my disks mount correctly, and to do that I need to find information in relation to those disks. So a couple of the commands which I've discovered and have since probably learnt fairly well now, well at least enough to know how I can set up a Samba share and to set up all that I need on my network device here, which it pretty much does everything for me. It does Samba, it does TFTP, it does Unify, and it has a little HTTP server there as well. So anyway, enough of that. But in terms of looking at what we're looking at today, we're going to look at a couple of commands. We're going to be looking at lsblk, df, and du. And we'll start with lsblk, which I tend to think gives a bit of a rundown from the top of your file system, which basically is your partitions. Your drives and your partitions. So I'll just do that again. Hang on, let's be okay. I must have been doing a typo there. So if we have a look here, we can see we've got our disk, which is SDA. You're probably familiar with seeing that if you've ever installed Linux before or went to your disk manager. And SDC, another disk. This is another disk as well. And you'll see that there's this UUID column, which is its unique identifier. And this unique key here is useful for setting up fs tab. So if I was to just do cat here and I'll do etc fs tab, we'll see that we've got the fs tab file here. And if we see the Seagate one here, if I copy that one, it's telling me here that it's already mounted to Seagate 5 terabyte, but fs tab is where it tells it to mount it to that location. So you'll see here I've got UUID, and then I've got the unique key for the 5 terabyte drive here, just a little portable drive. There's its mount point, there's its file system, and that's the information which is needed in relation to mounting that one within the OS. So the lsblk command, it has couple of other options too. So we can run this L command here, and what that'll do is it will output it as a list. So it removes that formatting which we've previously seen here, and it will output it as a list. Now there's another option here where we can do JSON, where it will output it as JSON. So this may be useful if you need to program something and you want to pull information about your systems. If we open up the man, we can see that there's a fair few other options, many of which I don't have a use case for, but I'm sure that some of those would be quite useful. Like there's a sort option here. You can sort it. It enables the list to be sorted, and tree-like output. Topology, output info. So I haven't done topology before. Let's give that one a go. I'll just make this window a bit bigger. So topology, what have we got? We got available, mount points, alignment. So there is lots of information here. Probably a lot more detail than what I require for when I'm setting things up. But lsblk was quite a useful tool. Now, if you're watching this, you'll probably say that, look, there's 1,000 other tools which will probably do that a lot easier. But in this case, these are the commands I found, which I thought were pretty useful. The next command we're looking at is df, which is, if we just open up the man here for a moment, we can see that it reports file system disk space usage. So if we go df, and I'll put h on the end, which basically means human readable. And this H command is often transferable to a lot of other Linux utilities. So an example of that is the common one, ls for list, and then lt, list, and then t, which is, forget it for the moment. We've got h, and then r, and they're all joined together. So H just makes it human readable, and basically if we have a look here, we've got 392K, that means it's kilobytes. If I delete the H now, we'll see that it's now in the bytes. So it's a little bit harder to read and look at quickly. So DFH makes it human readable. So here we can see that we've got the file systems, we've got the devices, the size, the use space, the availability, the use percentage, and then its mounted point. Now there's a whole heap of other options here for man. If I open up the man for DF here, we can see that we've got type. We can limit to listing by type. So if I want to only list ext4, I suppose I could probably do that. So now we're listing only the ext4 types here, and we've got the mount point. So a little bit more use there. Where I was using this one for was because it easily provided me the percentages of the disk space that was free, and it just provided a little bit more detail. That was just another way of checking on the information that I needed. So if we do the du command now, which is basically your usage rather than the file system usage. So at the moment I'm in a directory which has a couple of folders in here. So I'll run du first, and we'll see what it does is it's basically going through everything, and it's trying to work out how large that folder is. So I'll just clear that one again. I'll put human readable in the end. It'll make a bit more sense. There's the actual sizes of the files and folders there. If I just quit that one there, and I'll just clear that. If we do du, and we'll do h now, and we'll actually limit it. So we'll go max depth equals 1. So this will just do the top level that you're in, which will basically like run a lot quicker because you don't really need to check all the folders underneath. Unless you need to, you can change the depth as required. So at the moment, it's taking a long time here, and that's because it's gotten to that third folder there, which is quite large. So it'll sit here trying to process that one. I'll cancel it for the moment though, because that'll just take too long to do. So that's the example of the du, the df, and lsblk command. I know I found those options quite useful for when I was SSHing into the server which I was setting up. It just enabled me to set up etcfs tab with ease, and I got it done relatively quickly. Well, if this video has been helpful to you, please like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to see more, and if you have any questions, comment in the video below. If you have any suggestions on how I could have done this better, also comment that, and I will be sure to take your suggestions on board. As you may have known from some of my earlier YouTube videos, I have only been using Linux full-time for almost a year now, and I feel like I'm finally beginning to understand a lot more about the Linux operating system than I did when I begun. And I suppose a little bit of evidence of that is I started with Ubunutu, moved to Pop! OS. Now I'm finally taking a step back, looking at Debian, probably not using it as my desktop OS yet, but in saying that though, I have installed it on a laptop, and I'm giving it a little run there. But that is it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.